Welcome, everybody. Hello there. This is Tomer Grants. I am going to be running a game for the Gauntlet. The game we're playing today is Murder Hobo. It is a version of Forget Me Not. Forget Me Not is a GM-less role-playing game. The original had a very kind of Twin Peaks theme, but in this game, this is the D&D skin of Forget Me Not, and it's called Murder Hobo. Today, I'll start just by introducing our cast of characters, cast of players, I should say first. So again, my name is Tomer. I am a member of the Gauntlet and just started running some games recently, but I've been playing on and off with some of the people in the Gauntlet RPG community in the last year. If you don't know anything about them, I highly recommend you look them up, thegauntlet-rpg.com. And you'll find podcasts and actual plays and a very friendly G+ community, et cetera, et cetera. But let me start down here on my left. For my screen, I see Lou. So Lou, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lou. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for a while now. Actually, my first game, I think, might have been with you, Toma, when we played the Warren. So yeah, and I've played lots and lots of games since then. But yeah, check it out. I'm playing from Newcastle in Australia, which is a couple of hours north of Sydney, and I'm excited to play.
Awesome. Thanks, Lou. And yeah, that was the first game I was accidentally co-opted into GMing, I think. That was my first game I actually ran for the Gauntlet.
You did a fantastic job as well. I don't think you could have done better if you had been allowed to do any prep or anything. It was great.
Yeah, make me blush. All right, cool. Well, let me let Steven introduce himself.
I'm Steven. I've been playing games with the Gauntlet for about a month now, and before that I played some games in Gauntlet Con. And I live in Washington, D.C. I've been playing RPGs for, I don't know, maybe five years now. And before that, I played some Dungeons and Dragons, like in high school, but that was long gap in between. Most of these prefer the storytelling type games, such as Murder Hobo. And I played in your Forget Me Not game a couple weeks ago, which has a very similar set of rules.
So you'll be a pro. You can run this now. And in fact, the rules are that simple, right? You could totally run this.
Right. Yes. Yes. And in fact, I did buy a copy of this game after I played in your game of Forget Me Not, and I was planning to run a session of it with my local role-playing friends, but you jumped the gun, you scheduled a game of this, and I signed up for it, so you're running it.
That's right. I'll show you what not to do. Cool. Well, welcome everyone, and yeah, we'll launch into it. First off, the Gauntlet is a community which has a very great inclusivity policy, and part of that means that we are playing with the X card. I know that these players here are quite familiar with it, so I'm not going to go into it. But you know what to do. You can say X card if you want. Anybody who's listening to this later and is unfamiliar, feel free to look up X card RPG. Do a Google search, you will find it pretty quickly. So yeah, if anything comes up that is uncomfortable, we can use that. And feel free to bring up if there's anything you don't want in the game. Me personally, I don't want any kind of like sexual violence in the game, but I kind of know that, this game doesn't necessarily encourage them to play, although anybody can, it's a role-playing game, right? I mean, in theory, anybody can go anywhere with this stuff, but I don't want that in my game. But is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up that they definitely do not want in the game?
Yes, I agree with the sexual violence, and also there were some of the cards which we did not choose that leaned towards sexual stereotypes, and if any of those had come up, I would have I would have urged us to steer clear of that. Just be a little bit, make sure that we're respectful.
Cool.
And I would say that the Forget-Me-Not games, definitely they're playing off of tropes. And sometimes playing off of tropes can be funny and clever, and sometimes it can just be stereotypically horrible.
Right.
So, just be aware that these games can lend themselves in that direction if you want to go in that direction, for good or ill. So,
Right.
so
Right. There's some things that can go horribly wrong in some of the cards. I don't see anything like that on any of these cards.
yeah.
So.
And in fact, yeah. So, anyways, if anything does come up that we don't want, we know what to do, right? So, so Forget Me Not is actually, let me bring up my cheat sheet. Hold on just one second. That way I don't forget any of the useful, where did I put it?
Can I just quickly jump in, Toma, with
Oh
my
yeah,
things
absolutely.
that
Yes, please.
I'd prefer nothing like violence towards children, kind of that sort of thing, and like extracted torture sort of things. Like if it comes into the game that happens, like fade to black on that sort of thing. That's fine if it's in the story, but not like super explicitly would be good.
Yeah, that's easy for us to steer clear of. And if anybody does accidentally start going to that territory, just let us know and we can back off. But yeah, sounds great. Cool. So the first thing we did before we actually started, and what you'll notice if you're viewing this later on, I'm going to occasionally click on the user, which is sharing sharing the screen of the playmat. For you guys who are playing, if you ever click on the Tom user, then you can look at that there, and I've sent you more visible ones in JPEG format. But the idea here with this playmat is we've shuffled a deck of cards which have our characters, and we've chosen specific characters. That I think the game comes with like 24 of them or 32 of them or something like that. I think 32. And we've chosen 8 of those characters that just kind of jumped at us. We chose some set of thread cards, which are the ones on top there. Those are little adventure hooks. And we have the Dungeon of Darkness, which is, of course, the place our players talk about going a lot, but maybe never get around to getting to. So by the end of the game, we will find out if our adventurers actually go to the Dungeon of Darkness and are able to defeat the denizens therein. And we'll know that, Stephen, you're already kind of familiar with the rules. There's going to be our little tokens that we place, and that's going to give us an idea of, who maybe gets the treasure and that kind of thing. But before we start, Forget Me Not has a certain number of cards, that I just showed you, and we're going to start by reading the Help Wanted flyer. And I didn't share it out ahead of time, so just to save time, I'll read it. But this comes with the game. Although, actually, Stephen, do you have it in front of you?
I can pull it up in a second.
All right, let me let you do it. So there's the Help Wanted flyer, and this is kind of the introduction to our story.
Brave warriors and not so brave bards and gnomes. The town of XXX.
It should be Ironhome, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, we all call it XXX because things can get a little racy around here, if you know what I mean. But the town of Ironhome lives under the shadow of the dark dungeon, where hordes of monsters plague our fair lands. The worst, however, is the dreaded Black Dragon, for which our local tavern is named. Well, it's not a tavern. It's an inn. There's a difference. Inns are for out-of-towners who need a place to stay. Taverns are where the locals drink. But the distinction isn't acutely obvious at first, but once you live here for a while, you get it. Anyway, if you're looking for work, there's always something that needs doing. talk to Cole if you actually kill something. He handles rewards.
Nice. And we do have Cole in our cast of characters, in fact, right? So playing the game is going to involve, this is a GM-less game, so playing it involves us taking turns being the director. For anybody who's played The Final Girl, you should be somewhat familiar with kind of how that looks. Fiasco kind of does a similar thing as well. However, in this game, the way it's written, I find 4 players is kind of like the best number. And in that case, you have a director which stands back, sets the scene, maybe assigns characters and players, says action, and says cut when the scene is over. In this case, we're going to allow the director to also play a character if they so choose. So the director is going to set a scene in one of the threads and is then going to assign character roles, say action, and we as the characters have one job and almost one job only, and that is to say what is on our card, right? So if we look at our card, let's pretend in this case that Lou is assigned a knife blade in a specific scene. Sometime during that scene, I'm going to assume here knife blade is uses female pronouns, although it's kind of ambiguous with some of these characters, which allows you to kind of play with it how you want. But let's say knife blade is a she here. She's going to say the words "sharpened to a point" because that's what's at the top of her card. So at some point, Lou's going to have to say that during the scene. Anywhere that he feels it comes up appropriately or not, or whatever. And once Lou has said his lines and Steven said his lines, and if I'm in the scene, let's say I've said my lines, there's one other task that we have to do. One of us, at least one of us, has to say the words Dungeon of Darkness, or at least imply it very heavily, right? And so once each of us has said our word, we've implied or said Dungeon of Darkness, then at that point, the director can at any point say cut, and the scene will end. And that's pretty much all we have to do. And as soon as that's done, the director gets to assign some tokens, and we'll get to that part of the game when we get there. And then we move on, and the next person gets to be the director. So that's pretty much the way the game works. We keep playing until we've filled all the tokens up on our thread cards. And at that point, we get our little epilogue, and we find out, whether or not, someone is able to defeat the hordes of monsters in the dark dungeon and come back with treasure. Cool. Now, Steven, you've played this, Forget Me Not before. Do you want to take a crack at being the first director?
All right. Let's say the first scene is with... All right, Tomer, how about you play One-Eyed Cole?
Okay.
And Lou, you can play Knife Blade, and I'll be Calypso, and we'll do Wizard with a Map.
Okay. Now, can you read us Wizard with a Map? Now, that's the thread card that's up on top. Right. And it's got some flavor text. So the first time we play in one of these threads, which are sometimes they're locations, sometimes they're story hooks or other things. The first time we play them, we'll have whoever the director is read the flavor text just to give us a feel for it.
Okay. I'd go myself, you see, but I've got this thing I have to do, and my legs are old, and my shoulder's been acting up. It's not that I don't want to, it's just, the treasure's there. You just follow the magic map. Were we cool?
Nice.
Do I just do the first thing on the list is my thing, or yeah, cool.
Yeah, and that's a great question. So whenever you're playing one of these characters, you just do the first thing on the list. Now, as we'll see later, there's going to be tokens that cover up the little squares, and then you go down that list if the top one has been covered. But yeah, just the first thing on your list. And I guess it's kind of assumed that we're in the, what was it? The Red Dragon Inn? The Black Dragon Inn?
Black Dragon.
The Black Dragon Inn?
Yeah.
All right. Well, One-Eyed Cole is standing there at the bar, giving everybody a stink eye with his one eye. Hey, you wizard! I'm watching you. You've had one too many beers. He's pointed at a wizard with a really long scroll. He's been bothering some of the customers apparently.
Knife Blade is kind of leaning up against the bar. You're like, Cole, is this guy for real, or is he always in here sending people off to?
He's kind of new.
Stuff?
I haven't seen him before, but maybe this is the first time he's on the right side of the bar. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this yarn before. I mean, how much up front does he try to get out of the suckers before he sells this map?
More than me, that's for sure. I mean, I give the rewards out, but I get my cut. But I mean, I'm an honest man. This guy, I don't trust him as much as he can throw a fireball.
Knife Blade kind of squints across at Alfie's like, yeah, you're an honest old grifter, aren't you? That's for sure. Nothing dodgy about you, Cole.
You, wizard, come here. Calls the wizard over. Yeah, well, give me that. Let me take a look at it. Hey, Knife Blade, Calypso. Maybe we should take a look at getting whatever this treasure is. I don't know. I can't make out the ruins. Does anyone know what it says?
This looks like it's on the side of a mountain. I mean, that's like, I don't know. We'd either need to like climb to the top of the mountain and lower ourselves down, or we'd have to climb up this cliff. Oh God, this is gonna be a pain in the neck. I mean,
hey, look at how the map it's like coming out at you. Whoever drew this map is indeed a wizard. What's that say there? Dyson Logos. Huh.
Oh yeah, I hate these maps where you got to touch them and they zoom in, and it never works right.
My fingers.
I can never get my thing. I mean, it's supposed to work with your finger, but it never seems to register.
Meanwhile, One-Eyed Cole suddenly turns because there's this big kerfuffle in the corner, and he runs over there. That wizard, has pulled out another map and is trying to get a bunch of orcs to do his bidding, and they've got him up against the wall. And he grabs one of the orcs by the scruff of the neck and pulls him out and just tosses him out of the tavern, grabs another one, throws him out the window.
Right. So I'm quickly rolling up the map and I'm tucking it inside my shirt while the wizard is talking to these orcs.
While all this is going on, I think Knife Blade's gotten out a knife and she's whittling a stick at the bar, and she's kind of like she's making some sort of steak or a wooden shiv, and she's kind of she's like shaking her head and kind of looking menacingly at the map wizard.
Wait a minute. Is that for the vampire? I heard there's one in the Dungeon of Darkness. That's some good forward thinking there.
And I think she says to the wizard, she's like, "Yeah, I think we'll take your job. Just come out the back with me, and we'll discuss some details." And she puts her arm around the wizard with her shiv behind her back and starts walking across the bar room with him to discuss things outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Good night, Cole. I think I'm gonna get to the shops early. I just remembered I need to buy about 50 feet of rope.
50 feet. That's a pretty tall hang distance.
Well, yeah, I've been thinking of taking up mountain climbing. You know, it's good for the abs.
All right. Well, if you need any help, you know I'm your guy. We're a team, you and I.
Absolutely. And she winks at him, and that I'm gonna call scene.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
And you can see that a couple of things we did, for those watching at home. Like, you don't always have to say the exact words. You can imply them. You can kind of do them. Occasionally, though, you'll see some of these words are in quotes. That's where, I guess the game kind of wants you to say those exact words in some manner, right? But, you take this game as seriously as you want to. So, cool. So Steven has called scene. Now we're going to go into token distribution mode, right? So I'm going to go out of the presentation mode here. I'm going to grab our tokens, make a copy of them. And now Steven gets to assign these tokens. One of them will go to a thread, so it has to go to wizard with a map. And then the other two get assigned to two of the three characters that were in the scene.
Right. So I'll assign the red token, I think, to wizard with a map.
Mm-hmm.
And the neutral tokens to Calypso and One-Eyed Cole.
Now we noticed that one character is always not going to get that token. In this case, it was Knife Blade. So the next time Knife Blade is in a scene, she's going to have to either say or do that sharpening to a point again. But anybody else, so if Calypso is in a scene, then she goes down to the next thing on her list or his list. Same thing with One-Eyed Cole, right? Cool. Then I'm going to go ahead and hand the next scene over to Lou. Now I forgot. There's one last thing. The one scene, the one thread you cannot use is Dungeon of Darkness. That one has to wait, but you can, once you have one token in each of the other ones, then you can do one token in Dungeon of Darkness. So you can kind of fill it in slowly in the back, but after you've gone for a while.
Can I also ask a question about the relationships? Are they just to inform the scenes that we do, or do they have a mechanical kind of?
No mechanical. They just inform the fiction.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to choose goblins as the scene.
Okay.
And let's see. I think I'd like to see. Do I choose who plays the?
Yes.
Characters as well. I'd like to see Stephen play Dragonfly, the nearsighted archer.
Okay.
And let's see. let's see. How do you pronounce that? Rizgt. How do you say the
That
not
sounds good to me.
dritzt? I'm gonna call it that one, not dritzt.
Yeah.
Toma, you're playing
Rizgit.
not dritzt.
Yeah. The dark elf archetype. Archetype. I love it.
Yeah, and I choose whether I'm in the scene.
Yeah. So
or not.
normally, in the game as written, normally you would have like for a 3-player game, you would actually have less characters, but we were talking about it and we're hacking it today so that either you can play in the scene as the director or you can have it as a 2-character scene if you want. It's kind of
cool.
up to you.
Right. It's just that 2-character scenes can get a little too simple sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
This does make it a little more difficult for you as the director, though, being in the scene, because it's kind of your job to call when the scene ends, and you're also kind of having to see if the other people have said their words. So there's
I think I'm gonna just direct this one so that I can have a little practice of like mapping when you've said your things and stuff. Yeah.
Sounds good. So sorry, it was goblins, and I'm playing Rizgit. Got it.
Should I read the
Oh
the
yes,
text?
please do. Yeah.
Cool. This okay. We considered domesticating them, but it really was a great way to train soldiers to have things different than them, to hate things different from them. This font's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
So we kept them around. Who knew they breed like apes? Does it say?
Orcs.
Orcs. Yeah, those R's are weird. Okay. Who knew they breed like orcs?
Where's Dragonfly?
Right. I'm Dragonfly. You're Rizged, and I assume that you've called action.
Oh yeah, action.
Yeah. All right, Rizged. Now, remember, when I start shooting arrows, you want to be standing behind me. I mean, usually I do this by myself. I work much better alone, but I understand you've got. I understand you've got a bar tab and you need the bounty, so we'll do this together.
First of all, it is pronounced Rizgit. That is Rizgt.
Rizged.
Oh, you high elves, you don't know how to pronounce true Elvish.
I do not even know what to say to this. That is so racist.
Also, if I'm standing behind, how can I use my 2 daggers?
Can't you throw daggers?
These are not throwing daggers. Look at this one. It is red. And this one, it is blue. These daggers are not for throwing. They are for stabbing these goblins.
Well, all right. I will shoot half of them, and then you will stab half of them.
I don't know.
Or perhaps you can stab half of them, and then I will shoot half of them.
Well, hold on a second. What level are you again?
We do not use levels in high elf culture, but I am considered the equivalent of a brown belt.
Brown belt. How much experience do you need to go to the next level?
I need to win 3 tournaments or collect 10,000 gold pieces.
Oof. Look, I'm very close to leveling up. How about you take the 20% of the goblins, and I do the rest of the goblins?
not very good at math, but I would just shoot 20 goblins and you will kill whatever is left.
Sure. That sounds. Oh, do you feel it?
Do I feel what?
My double danger sense.
And cut. That was awesome, guys. Funny.
Great. All right, so let me bring up the second mode.
Oh, we never actually mentioned the Dungeon of
Oh, we
Darkness.
didn't.
I thought you were in it.
That sounds good. I kind of like the idea of we were in that first cave of the Dungeon of Darkness, like that very first room.
Yeah, or like a corral of like goblin fighting, breeding thing right outside the dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe I cut early, but anyway.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I didn't even think about we have to mention the Dungeon of Darkness until after you said cut. And then I realized, wait, we didn't mention the Dungeon of Darkness.
But I think we could retcon this by having, like you said, there's this little goblin escapade going on right outside this clearing. There's a big cave, but there's a sign that says Dungeon of Darkness, and it's pointing, at the cave.
Right.
All right, so this is all you, director. So Lou, you've got 3 tokens to assign. One has to go to goblins. Now, there's 2 colors here. There's a red one and there are gray ones. The red one is called moving forward. That's a moving forward token. And the gray ones are called standing still tokens. But really what it means is, like the red one is you assign it to either the thread or the person, either that you thought did something cool or something funny. Maybe you kind of just don't want to hear what they're going to say again because they've said it too many times or whatever. You assign that to whomever you want. And then the other 2 you assign again. Now, in this case, this case, we only had 2 people in the scene. So you're only actually going to get 2 tokens. And one of them has to go to the thread.
Cool. What's the significance of putting the red thing on the thread rather than the...
Yeah, so the game doesn't really talk about that significance until the end game. Now, with the Twin Peaks version of Forget Me Not, I kind of left it as a little more mysterious because first-time players, it's kind of fun to not know exactly what you're doing, and then you kind of see what the results are. But it's kind of also cool to see, when people do know the rules, how that affects their decision-making. So the red ones are probably going to signify something to do with the end of the story, right? Like which threads or which characters are significant in having to deal with the Dungeon of Doom.
Cool. I guess I'll put the red one on Rizgit.
All right.
And the grey one on the goblins.
All right. Cool. And we go back into presentation mode. All right. Now I'm the director. So let's see, what do we do here? Now, for those listening at home and also for Lou, because this is your first time playing, if I wanted to, I could choose a thread that's already been used. So I could do Wizard with a map, The only restrictions are Dungeon of Darkness can only be chosen when at least all the other ones have been chosen once. Then you can choose Dungeon of Darkness once. So that's kind of the only restriction we have. But let's talk about, second level social justice warrior. Let's do that one. And for those listening at home, this game has both social justice warriors and status quo warriors. So something for everyone. I actually think it would be fun to play in a game where you've got both of those. See how that plays out. But second level social justice warrior says, there's not enough inclusion in this dungeon. Have you noticed? It's just orcs, goblins, and bugbears. All goblinoids. That's racist. Only a privileged adventuring class would think this is okay. We need dungeon equity. So we're going to do that as our thread. Let's play all 3 of us in a scene. We haven't seen our necromage yet, so we'll have Zagast in the scene. I'm going to assign that to Steven. and we're gonna have Phelan the Grey, who I will play. That is a soft elf mage, and then we're gonna have Rizgit, who's gonna be played by Lou. So maybe Rizgit has just come back from the goblin escapade.
Right, and there are connections between Zaghast and both of those other characters.
Yes.
These Zaghast drinks the blood of Phelan the Grey and has zombified Rizgit.
And now there is a little bit of ambiguity here. So does he drink the blood of Phelan the Grey, or does he drink blood with Phelan the Grey? We'll have to find out. I kind of like where you were going with it.
Right.
All right. So yeah, I think right now the three of us are actually in the tavern. So we're in the Black Dragon. And maybe what I'm going to set up is Phelan and Zaghast are both in the Black Dragon, and Rizgit, you can come in whenever you want, and maybe you're coming back from this last scene.
And is the social justice warrior also a character in the scene that we're talking to? Is that what's
it may be a character, and any one of us can introduce like an NPC if we want. If one of us was an extra director that wasn't playing a character, you can also jump in as NPCs anytime you want.
Cool.
But we could also be just exploring the theme. So it may just be that we're talking about something about that as well. But yeah, it's a good question, and one that the game doesn't answer for us. Zaghast. I see you've started without me. You've got a little bit of red on the corner of your mouth there.
Yes, that was just the barmaid. You know that I always wait for you to do my serious drinking.
I know. Hold on. Ugh. He pulls up his arm, and there's like bite marks everywhere, like track marks. Hands his arm over to Zaghast. Come.
You know, I think I'm going to change it up a little bit today, and I call it to the bartender, and I ask for a glass of red wine, and then I just take a little knife, and I cut a nick in your arm, and I dribble the blood into the cup. These mixed cocktails, I'm really developing a taste for them.
Oh, hold on. And Phelan reaches into his bag, pulls out this little gray powder, and sprinkles it into the cup. And he's all, this one's called a pinch of silver.
As you say that, the door's kicked open, and it Rizgit comes in like totally flamboyant wanker dark elf style, with throwing his cape over his shoulder, and he's like,
"Oh, this guy!
I'm just back from stabbing lots of little goblins. I've been level grinding up at the near the dungeon of darkness."
That's racist.
What? You guys are at it again, I see.
Look, all I know is I can't have you do this over and over again. We have respectable patrons and friends here. Saying grinding, they always use that term for the goblinoids. Grinding. Give them some respect. You are... Whoa, what's the word, Zaghast?
It is... He is zombified. He is just not even... He is not even acting like a human being. He is acting like... How can I say it? He's acting like an NPC.
Oh. Brisket pulls out a whole lot of like bling that he's got under his shirt, all of these talismans, and he's like rubbing them all and showing. He's like, "Look at all this cool loot I got from the
Oh, for
Goblin Eye."
goodness sakes. We, we don't mind you rubbing all your talismans all the time, but can't you do it in the privacy of your own room?
Disgusting. I don't like to say it, but it's something that those dark elves do.
Hush, hush. It's a cultural thing. I think we shouldn't.
It's not racist, is it?
I mean, it's not. We still shouldn't talk about it in front of him. It might make him uncomfortable.
I whispered.
Well, yes, but they have very, you know those tall, pointy ears.
Mm.
They hear very well.
I think that's racist.
It's a little bit racist, but it's true. I mean, sometimes the stereotypes are true, you know.
Brisket is like, "I can hear everything you're saying."
Yeah. So I take a swallow of my drink. And I'm spitting this dark magic all over the room. What is that? What is that? What did you put in that drink?
Pinch of silver. Does it every time. Ha!
I am allergic to silver, you fool!
Cut. Perfect. I'm assuming Lou did Rizkit say like he was returning from the Dungeon of Doom? Okay.
Yes, I very obnoxiously said Dungeon of Darkness.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's the that's that scene. Oh man. The plot thickens. Okay, so I'm going to let's put a gray one on social justice. Who else do we have here? I really enjoyed the spitting dark magic. Oh god, the rubbing talisman was good too. But you know what? I don't know if we want to see the rubbing talisman anymore.
No, it's going to end up being some sort of like dick and balls joke if we're not careful as well. I was trying to steer away from that. I think it's kind of intended to potentially be that.
Yeah. So so we've got so I've assigned those 3 tokens. That means that the next time Phelan's in the scene, we're going to see Pinch of Silver again, maybe in a different form. We want to see more of that. All right, so I hand the reins off to Stephen. You're the director.
All right. Well, we haven't seen Wexler yet, so I'll assign him to Lou, and let's put Dragonfly in the scene since they've got a connection. I'll hand that to Tomer, and I guess I'll take Phelan to the Gray, since there's a connection there as well. And let's do buying supplies.
Oh, do you want to read the flavor text there?
Oh yes. So buying supplies. Okay, that's 4 10-foot poles, 20-pound bag of iron rations, a saddle blanket, a grapnel hook, 4 sheets of vellum, pint of oil, and a vial of alchemical pipe. Gold only. We don't do credit here. Okay, so I think we're in the ye old adventurer supplies store. I think Phelan is in there with Wexler, and Dragonfly is in the shop for purposes of her own. So now, young Wexler, It is very important to always have the proper supplies when visiting the Dungeon of Darkness. Do you understand, apprentice?
Yes, I understand. But I mean, I'm not here to learn how to buy stuff. When are you going to teach me some magic?
Worthless apprentice. Do you not understand that without the proper material components, there is no such thing as magic? It is merely legerdemain or stage trickery. No, true magic requires supplies and material components and careful tracking of all ingredients on a detailed inventory list.
Oh man.
And be sure to write the list out in pencil so you can erase easily. No ink.
I think if you I'm just sick of constantly carrying all your stuff and carrying your spell books and doing your laundry and massaging your feet. Well, I think Dragonfly should carry all of this stuff, and I mean she never manages to hit anything with her arrows anyway.
Dragonfly, like as soon as her name is mentioned, kind of like, looks around the corner. And as soon as the insult is made, she does one of those things where she kind of kicks one of Wexler's feet so he trips over himself.
Clumsy fool!
Like, yeah, you nerd. She's got these big, thick glasses on. She's looking down at him.
Wexler's like, ah, shit.
What's your dexterity? 3?
He's like, well, yeah, but you don't have to. I'm sensitive about that.
For now, you just got to learn how to carry, man. I used to carry for years. And then, I finally graduated, did my first funnel, got to level 1. And then I went out there and I took care of business. You haven't even done a funnel, have you?
He blushes.
That's what I thought.
Now, Dragonfly. Apprenticing is a perfectly valid career path for adventurers. Not everybody needs to funnel.
Hey, man, funnel is how you really do it. And he just had money. His dad paid for him to go to adventure college. That's why he got this cush job. And he's just going to float into level 1. And I worked hard. And I got there alone. I worked better alone.
Wexler,
you must understand, Dragonfly, that some people are naturally superior, and the superiority is measured by wealth. You don't expect rich people to go through a funnel. If you didn't like your work-study requirements, then you always had the option of becoming a tavern wench or mucking out stables. But through the grace of our good Baron, he has offered scholarships in the form of a funnel, which allows lower class types such as yourself a path to near social equality with your betters. You should be grateful.
She just does one of those and just looks the other way, walks out, looks back, and is like, I'll see you at the Dungeon of Darkness. Then we'll see. We'll see who's more equipped to handle things. And she turns to walk out and like trips over a box that's right there next to the door. But quickly like puts her glasses back on and walks out.
Now, young Wexler, we need half a dozen eggs, a rasher of bacon. Don't forget to buy the salt this time, and oh yes, the material components. I'm going to need a pinch of silver, some sulfur, a little bit of saltpeter, and 3 peacock feathers. And remember to write them on the list this time. We need them on the list. If we don't track material components, it's just chaos. Chaos.
Wexler does a really bad job of getting all of the shit that you make, possibly deliberately, and he's kind of mumbling to himself. He's like, totally gonna get a group of my friends together tonight and go exploring in the dungeons of darkness.
Okay,
it's gonna be awesome.
Okay, so let's see. I think I will give the red one to Dragonfly. And put the gray ones on buying supplies and pinch of silver.
So Lou, it's your turn, right?
Yeah, if that's the way that we do things, just keep going around the table.
Yeah, until we get all the thread. So the goal, and yeah, the game ends when all of the thread cards are full. So you're basically going to have, 15 scenes in this game, right? There's 3 on 5 different cards. The character card squares may not fill up all the way. We'll see. Some of them will fill, some might not, and that's okay.
Cool. You said when we had one in each, we could do a Dungeon of Darkness.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. We'll see if I manage to read this ridiculously ornate font this time. Well, I'll choose the actors first.
That's perfect, because Wexler was just talking about going there, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I think we'll have...
yeah, he doesn't even have to be in the scene. But
yeah, no, I kind of like the idea of him potentially... Yeah, we'll have Toma, you're playing Wexler. Let's see. And Stephen, you're gonna be Calypso. And I think I might I'm gonna be Phelan the Grey. Yeah, and I'll read the little flavor text. You stand at the vaulted doors of the Dungeon of Darkness. Few have dared to brave its eldritch maze, and what does that even say?
Scopes, maybe?
And scopes. I just can't read this.
Demonic beasts who await. I think it's misspelled too, but
yeah. Do you have the bravery?
Scores of demonic beasts.
Scores. Oh yeah, thank you. And scores of demonic beasts who await. Do you have the bravery to brave its denizens? Only the brave dare enter. Do you even brave? I kind of like the idea of the scene starting with like Wexler running out, all covered in blood out of the door of the the dungeon, and the other I think the other two characters are there already.
Wexler, put the doors burst open, wild-eyed, like walks out. He's kind of in a daze, a little off balanced, hairs all over the place. There's like blood and goblin guts, and like literally there's guts like tucked into his belt and spilling out. And he falls to his knees and he looks up and he says, "I've survived the funnel."
Yeah, big deal, kid. Everyone survived the funnel. Well, I mean, except the people who got killed, but they never come out of the funnel, so, and you're out of the funnel, so yeah. I mean, obviously you survived.
And he's still just shaking his head, like oblivious to what Calypso is saying. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I guess technically Zagcast might have raised you and you might have shambled out of the funnel, but then you wouldn't be talking because, I mean, or you could sort of be talking, but we couldn't understand you quite so easily.
Wexler
Slur
starts
your words.
He opens his mouth and he's just like, I
Oh shit! Maybe. Hold on, kid. He goes over and he lifts up your eye. Oh yeah, you're alive. Yeah, definitely alive. You can. I can tell. I've been in this game for a while. I can definitely tell when somebody is alive.
the horrors, that poor shepherd, and oh, and Mary the smith. Oh, she went down bad. All my friends from the village, they're all dead.
Holy shit, Mary was in there? That's too bad. She was cute.
She's oof. You don't want to look at her now. But she's half cute.
Yeah. Well, she was only kind of half cute before, but it was the top half, so that's the only half I really care about. I'm more of a face man.
Well, you seem to have gotten a lot of people killed, Wexler, and also you look like you're in no state to do your job. Look at you. Your stomach's hanging half out. What are we meant to do with you?
Oh my God, is that my stomach? And he like lifts it up, and some
What
goblin
the heck were you eating?
comes up.
Wait, were you eating iron rations in there? Kid, you don't eat iron rations your first day in the dungeon. What kind of... Oh, good grief. I don't even like eating iron rations after I've been adventuring for a week. Those things are nasty.
It's all we had. I after we got through the first room, and then we got into that pit, and there was just the three of us, and then poor Mary pulls out this bag full of, in fact, and he pulls back, like he's got a little bit of a bag. He pulls out a spell book, and he opens it, and you can see the spell book's been, the inside's been cut open to hide something inside it. And he's like, the only way we were able to escape was by hiding these iron rations from the goblins. And I was able to pick my way out of that prison with the iron rations and then eat them.
Well, I guess I should probably heal you with some magic or something. I mean, it's hard to find well, you're not really a good apprentice, but it's hard to find any apprentice. And Phelan starts conjuring up some magic, and he's kind of saying this bunch of mumbo jumbo, but you just hear all that anyone else can understand is he says, "Softer than dew," and he puts his hands down on Wexler's stomach, and you see it all start like healing up and stuff. He's like, "This is going to come out of your pay."
He's like, wait, but the goblin stuff's going in too. Is that okay? There's like a mix of like goblin intestine and his intestine all like slurping into his stomach.
You'll be fine.
Could actually be an advantage, kid. Goblins can digest anything.
I guess I'll carry the Dungeon of Darkness with me everywhere I go.
Well, yeah, you're an apprentice. That's your job. You carry stuff.
Cut.
That's such a great end to the scene. Oh my god. Okay. Back into this mode. Where do you want him?
We'll put the red one on Wexler's carrying spell books. He's leveled up. One's got to go on the Dungeon of Darkness. And we'll get rid of Phelan's softer than dew thing.
Nice. All right.
This is fun. It's a good like challenge for me because I'm often more of a third person narrator and less of a dialogue. Like I do less dialogue, so it's kind of like a fun like talking in character boot camp.
It is. Oh my god, that's such a great idea. One of these days we'll have this as like a GM boot camp game.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do struggle with like voicing my NPCs well a lot of the time too. It's probably one of my weak points, I think.
Very cool. And you could even optionally put accents on each of these characters, or maybe just draw an accent card. All right, cool. Let's see. So I'm the next director. Should we take a short break? Where you got it?
Yeah, I might cook myself some coffee quickly.
Okay, let's do that. We'll take like a. How about we do 10-minute break right now in the middle, and then we won't need to take another break until the end. And okay, I don't know if I know how to pause this thing.
Just let it run. I think that's what everyone else does.
We'll do that.
Cool. See you soon.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. How are you guys? You need a moment?
I'm good.
Okay. Coffee is gotten.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm the next director. What I will do, I'm going to say we're going to do goblins. And in this scene, we're going to have Calypso. Calypso, played by me. One-Eyed Cole, played by Steven. And Zagast, played by Lou. And the scene is actually, we're kind of walking out of the Black Dragon. I guess there's like a commotion, and the town is, there's just like madness. You can hear people screaming and running through the street, and we're just kind of like coming out of the pub. And action.
Tuesday again.
Looks like the goblins got out of their pens.
You want to go adventuring, Cole?
Oh wait, who's playing Cole? Sorry, did I?
Or wait a minute. Oh,
Lou,
oh,
are you?
crap! Right. Crap! I forgot. Right, I'm thinking. So
You're
sorry.
playing
I'm
Cole.
Cole and you're Calypso. Right, I got it backwards. Sorry. You want to go adventuring?
This is a good moment to tell the studio audience that this happens very frequently in games where you change characters a lot, like the Final Girl.
Yes.
One of the things that I found, and this is just a pro tip. Here's a forget-me-not pro tip. If you purchase the cards or make them yourselves, it's worth, because you get the print and play as well. I usually print out an extra copy of the side, which just has the character's picture and the name. And what I do is when I'm playing in real life, like at a table, I'll have a stack of those character cards and put them in front of that player. So that way everyone can like look over and remember who's who and remember who they are. This is not an uncommon event in this game, I found.
Yes. I am glad to be an example. Okay.
I'm just imagining Carl saying that to him himself now.
Yes.
Hey, you want to go adventuring, Cole?
Okay. Yes. All right.
Wait, are you talking to yourself or to me? Because I mean, I'm happy to team up. I just don't want to get in the way of whatever it is that's happening over there.
I'm happy to bring back up. I just, it's wings night at the it's wings night at the tavern, and those things, they weigh you down. You don't always feel like going adventuring.
I thought I was meant to be the one with lich cursed blood, and the crazy zany guy. You're stealing my thing, Cole.
Zagast, behind me! And she throws her arm out as like some goblin just tried to like jump out and bite the air where Zagast was standing before.
I punch the goblin in the face. He falls down. It's like, go back to the dungeon of darkness, you stupid crap.
To be fair, we kind of brought them out here, and we've been kind of breeding them in the pens.
Well, yeah, but that was a stupid idea.
Hey, I thought we'd be able to make a good fortune with those guys. They'd be the grunts.
While you're talking, Zagas has raised whatever whatever goblins are dead so far. And he's creating a small army of zombified
See?
goblins.
They've got a purpose. They've got use.
Right. We need an army of goblins so we can kill an army of goblins so we can raise an army of goblins to fight an army of goblins. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Fair. Look, I know what we need. We only need one thing. And Calypso leans over and pulls out this gorgeous sword, with gleaming gems on the hilt. We need iron. Ration it out to all these fools and chop them to pieces. We don't need grunts to do our dirty work.
Zagast cackles evilly. And runs into the battle with his goblin minions.
You guys go ahead. I'll catch up. I'm still these wings weighing me down.
Calypso looks back, runs forward, and chops a goblin in half. Zagast gives her dirty look because it was one of the zombie goblins accidentally.
He re-raises it. It's a half, it's jumping along in two halves. He's like, excellent, chop them all in half. We'll have double the army.
Sorry, did One-Eyed Cole do the bringing back up?
Yes.
Then cut. One of the things that I would have liked to do if my Hangouts foo was a little bit more impressive would obviously if somehow we could each have the character tokens, just having those extra cards, but also if there was a flag where you'd hit a button so a light would come on and then that person's kind of done, because sometimes you miss it. But
right. I mean, we could use chat for that. Just type in bringing back up when I say bringing back up.
Right. That's one more place I gotta look.
Or we could skip it and just keep track.
We'll just do it the way we're doing it. It's fine for me. All right, so goblins. I'm gonna give goblins a little gray chit, and then what do we have here? I'm gonna give. Let's see here. I'll give One-Eyed Cole the bringing back up, and then I'm going to give Zagast for my Lich Cursed Blood.
I liked your hitting iron rations there, Tomer. That was cool.
But sometimes you got to look at these things and figure out how you can work them in a different way, especially if you've played a couple times. And also, we had iron rations in the last scene, so I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to try to bring it back, but then I couldn't find a way to do it. All right, cool. So let's got that going, and then I'll hand it off to Steven.
All right. I'm going to do wizard with a map again. So since Calypso stole the map last time, I'll put her in the scene. I'll give her to Lou. And Tomer, you can be Dragonfly, and I'll be Knifeblade.
Nice.
I'll say, and let's say we're on the mountain where the map showed the treasure, climbing down a rope. We just got into the cave entrance. And action.
Well,
so
there's a big cave entrance. I think the map's spot on.
Yeah, this map better be for real.
I just hope there's something I can stab. You promised me there'd be stabbing.
Well, you did already stab the guy we got the map from earlier.
And don't forget this.
That was just a wizard. It's like he's barely even worth stabbing. I mean, you can stab a wizard to death with like limp spaghetti. You just got to sharpen it to a point first.
It reminds me actually of this one time I beat a wizard to death with my iron rations. It's actually they're more useful for that than eating, really. Kind of more like something you just carry along to make yourself feel like you've got some food than anything you'd ever actually want to eat.
Yeah, I mean, I sneezed on a wizard once, and it knocked him over, and he hit his head on the floor, and he died.
Wizards are nerds.
Yeah, and it was so disappointing. I was getting ready to stab him, and then just like some pollen got in my nose, and it was such an anticlimax, you know.
Well, I guess we should explore further into this this dim dungeon, this dimly lit dungeon that we find ourselves in.
You know, I just realized I'm not looking for work today. I'm just going to camp out here. You guys go ahead without me. I just leveled up on the way here, so, you know, I need some downtime. Some alone time.
Well, more treasure for us, I guess.
I lean over to Calypso. Since she's not working with us anymore, can I stab her?
Have you rummaged through her stuff? Does she have anything? I mean, I'm not above stabbing her. I just, you know, it would be nice if we got something out of it.
She's standing right behind you. She's like, look, I can hear you, and honestly, I'm not worth that much XP. I spent all my gold in the last town for arrows, so
Oh, these arrows, they're nice and pointy. I can stab lots of things with these arrows. Do you actually need the bow just to stab things with these arrows? Because it seems like they're pretty good stabbing things for stabbing things even without the stupid bow.
She's walking the entire time away from the, like, as you're talking to her, and she turns from a distance and puts an arrow into the bow, and she's like, I don't know, why don't you see? And she lets go, and it goes like way over your head. She's like, how's that? She's like,
there's like a yelping sound from further down the cave, and then there's this
and her eyes are wide, but with those big glasses, they're just huge.
Yeah. Calypso, I just remembered I need to get back into town. It's wings night at the tavern. See ya.
Like Calypso is like totally useless, and she trudges off towards the growling sound by herself.
Okay. Scene.
Oh man. All right. What do we got?
Okay. Let's put a gray on wizard with a map.
All right.
And a gray on sharpened to a point. And let's get rid of iron rations.
I think we're
I think
It
we've
was
had
just
enough.
getting to the point where it became hilarious by repetition, though.
All right, cool. Lou, you're up.
All right. Let's see here. Maybe some more social justice warrior, I think.
Okay.
Let's see how that plays out. I think we will have Zagast played by Stephen.
Okay.
We'll have Rizgit again, played by Toma. And let's see. We'll have Phelan the Grey. I'll play Phelan the Grey. And I think this scene is up on the hill, like outside of the Dungeon of Darkness. There's like lots of people from the village up there repairing the goblin breeding industry. And I think there's some like cut in half goblin zombies helping with the hammering. Yeah, action. Phelan the Grey is like, well, this is a mess, isn't it? These goblins really know how to wreck some stuff. I mean, all we're trying to do is just use them to hone our fighting skills, and they keep breaking out and burning down the town every Tuesday.
No, the problem is we started that way. Then they get the union, and then they ask for their equal rights, these goblins. But you know what? It's not even the goblins. It's that Calypso. She's the one. She fights for their rights. But they're goblins. They are scum. So beneath us.
The only right I recognize, darling, is the right to party. That is the fundamental human right, or goblin right, humanoid right. Yes, the fundamental humanoid right. That is the correct term, isn't it?
Humanoid. They use humanoid this year. Last year they say goblinoid, and next year what do they say? They say something else. They say humanoid is racist because it's human-less. Next year it'll be humanful. Huh?
I know, right? I asked a guy in the bar earlier if he had any pixie blood, because he was like a little guy, and he got really angry at me and told me it was offensive. I mean, he was little, right? He was cute and little.
I have some pixie blood if you want to borrow it.
Oh, but oh, yes, I guess that it is an ingredient in
it is
some
very
of my.
tasty.
Well, I'm not.
It's sweet. Very,
Yeah.
very sweet.
Have you tried pixie blood before, Zegas? What do you think of
You
that?
get such a sugar high off of pixie blood.
So sweet.
Yes, but delicious. You just can't stop drinking it.
Well, shall we make a toast to goblin slavery and drinking the blood of pixies.
Yes. Let us make a toast
Oh,
by the black
wait a
oath
minute.
of
Resurrecting goblins, that is not slavery. I'm very offended that you would call my 100 Legion army of dead goblins slave labor. It's not the case. It is,
Yes.
it is simply recycling. It is very environmentally conscious.
I will give a toast then. And Rizgit pulls out 3 little plastic sticks with blood in them and passes them to each of the 3. He rips out the top of one and says, by the black oath of the father and the mother before me, only for us, the true living, we are the ones who will take this earth. And there's you can see a big scar where maybe his neck had been slashed when he had died before Zagast had raised him. He doesn't seem to be aware of it, and he slurps up the little pixie blood stick.
To fathers and mothers, and also to the child-free who serve a valuable role by helping to raise children. Don't let the valuable contribution of uncles and aunts be forgotten. It takes a village to raise a child, or a necromancer, but a necromancer or a village, either one will do. It depends what kind of raising you're interested in, really.
They all do that pixie blood shot and scene.
Oh my god.
I like how we managed to get all of the anti-social justice warriors together.
Oh my god. All right, where do you want them?
Well, I like how Zagast has getting all red so far, so we'll give him the red one.
All right.
And then one on the social justice warrior. And one on the pixie blood.
Pixie blood. All right.
I actually even forgot I was being the director in that one until I'm like, this is really fun. I wonder when somebody's going to answer.
And just fair, like if you played this with 4 players, the director wouldn't normally be in the scene as a PC, right? But they might, like I've had it a lot of times where the director will jump in as NPCs or even use one of the PCs kind of in the background to yell things or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it does work a lot better with 4 players.
Yeah. Okay. So is it my turn?
I think so.
Okay. Let's do, sure. Why don't we do buying supplies? We haven't done that in a little while. And in this one, we're gonna have, sorry, Phelan and Wexler are gonna be in the shop again. Phelan is gonna be played by Lou, and we'll have Wexler played by Steven. And you know what? We'll have I don't know. I kind of like Dragonfly in there. Yeah, I'll play Dragonfly in that scene. And action.
Well, Wexler, it appears you're on the mend, and you've I've heard you've leveled up now. What did you
Yeah, he's a level 1 nerd. It's from like 2 aisles over.
I'm a level 1 mage. I'm not going to double class. I'm not going to take a level in nerd until I'm like at least level 4 or 5 because I don't want to multi-class too soon.
Nerd.
Well, I've got a gift for you, Wexler. This
A
is
gift master?
Yes, that's right, a gift.
Are you finally going to let me copy one of your spell books?
Well, let's not be too hasty. I think
I'll use my own ink.
Wexler, I said let's not be too hasty. I don't think
I can even buy the paper myself.
Wexler, I'm trying to give you a gift. Be quiet. Is
it a spellbook master?
As Wexler keeps interrupting Phelan, he conjures up a this little it's like kind of ghostly apparition that walks up behind Wexler and like kneels down on all fours, and then Phelan pushes him over the thing. He's like quiet, Wexler.
I've told you that if you keep pushing me over, I will complain to the apprentices union. You know that you aren't allowed to do that. There are very strict workplace safety rules regarding apprentices.
Dragonfly walks over from a couple aisles over. She's got a couple 10-foot poles in her arms. And she walks right over, like steps over Wexler, who's on the ground, and looks down and, gives him that look like, that was a nerd move. What are you doing down there? Looking for work? Level 1 nerd. She walks off with her big old glasses.
Young Wexler, things have changed a lot. When I was just an apprentice, my master once put me inside of a chest and set me on fire and rolled me down a hill. And that was seen to be perfectly fine. All I've done is mock you and belittle you and push you over every now and again.
I don't mind being mocked and belittled, Master, but the pushing hurts.
Well, anyway, you've really
very
ruined
fragile
this.
Bones, Master.
You've really ruined
That's why I thought I should be a wizard,
Wexler,
because my bones are so.
Oh, Wexler, you fool! You've really ruined this. It's meant to be a very special moment between a master and a student, and you've made me push you over. I didn't want to push you over. You made that happen. Well, anyway, here's the staff of my great master, the staff of Azadriel. He's like, get up here, have the stupid staff.
Thank you, Master.
And don't you be going anywhere near the Dungeon of Darkness, you fool.
And
no, Master. No, Master. I will. Oh, I've dreamed of touching your staff, Master, someday. And now that the moment has come, it is everything I thought it would be.
Yeah, cut.
I was waiting for Dragonfly to be like, Background there. Yeah.
No, I think there's like right before the scene cuts, you see Dragonfly like look over wide-eyed from the other, like from between some shelves. Like, what's going on over there? Oops. Oh my goodness.
That was funny.
Let's see. Let's give Dragonfly looking for work. I like the copying spell books. We're gonna need more about this. You know what? I'm gonna give Wexler the red, but we'll see Azadriel's staff again. And buying supplies. Okay. And give it over to Stephen.
Okay. I think that's round off wizard with a map.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll take Calypso again, and Tomer, you can be One-Eyed Cole, and Lou, you can be Rizged. And we are back in the cave on the mountain, and it's like, and I guess action. Cool. That Rizged. Thank you for coming. There's something very big and very nasty in this cave, and I need 2 people I can count on.
That's me. Well, what's this guy doing here?
He's really good at seeing in the dark.
Fair.
And, you know,
I'm not so good at seeing in the light.
Yeah, and I was really thinking his double danger sense might come in handy here. It's like, I'm pretty sure that there's something pretty big and pretty dangerous in here, and I thought it would be a good idea if we could maybe figure out what it was before it came out and attacked us. I mean, you can use your double danger sense for that, right, Rizkit? Got some talismans you can rub or something.
Yeah, I guess so. But what level is this dungeon meant for? How many characters are we meant to take down into this thing?
Well, it says right here
I
on the
don't know.
map.
The magic map just said it was level appropriate.
Well, shall we go down and see what this?
Wait. What do you mean go down? I thought you were going to use this double danger senses thing. I don't want to just walk in there. It's
okay. Wait, I'll use it.
Level appropriate means balanced.
Okay, wait, I'll use it. Okay, it's safe. Let's go down.
Oh, okay.
All right, well,
Perfectly safe.
Hold on a second. I want to search for traps first, because I mean, I know you got your double danger sense, but there are lots of different kinds of danger, and like traps could be like a third kind of danger that your double danger sense doesn't pick up on. I mean, now that I think about it, there are way more than 2 kinds of danger.
Huh.
As you say that, Rizgit is like, there's no traps. We were already down here earlier. And he goes walking confidently into the thing, and the steps just turn into a ramp. And he's like, as you just hear him like screaming, "By the black oath of the!" as he slides down.
Okay.
I told him to settle down in here, and that's not what I meant.
Okay, well, I mean, I still got 50 feet of rope left. That's just go forward carefully, and hopefully he didn't alarm whatever that thing was.
Hopefully he did, because that thing will be distracted.
Yeah. You think just abandon him, grab the treasure, get out?
Oh, well, you know what? Come to think of it, I forgot to take that bribe off of him. He owes me a bribe.
You
So,
hear you hear Rizkit's voice floating up. It's like, guys, it's really, really dark down here. It's oh wait. Wait, I can see in the dark, it's fine. Don't worry.
That thing down there, it did sound really big and nasty. I mean, maybe we should just forget this treasure and just go plunder the dungeon of darkness instead.
I think so. That's a little
Yeah.
more grindy and a little less level appropriate, if you will.
Yeah, and this thing, it looks really slippery. I'm not sure we could get back out if we went down.
But you know what? That's cruel. You might as well throw the rope down there for him. I mean, can't just leave him down there, right?
Oh, fine. Hey, Rizkit, here's a rope. Throws him the rope.
Without tying it off.
Oh yeah, probably should have tied that to something.
Nah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. These dark elves, they're good. They're good at that kind of thing. Anyway, that's when I got up this morning, I was really in the mood to do a dungeon, and now you get here and it just doesn't feel like you're just not that into it, you know?
Oh, hey, it's Goblin Thigh night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's head back to town. Bye, Rizkit.
We'll save you some.
Guys.
Not really gonna save many.
Okay, so I will put the red on by the black growth of the eye.
That was great.
Yeah, and that's the gray on wizard with a map.
Yep.
And let's put a gray on search for traps.
Sure. Okay. So Lou, you're up.
I think we'll go social justice warrior again. And we'll see Calypso played by Toma. We will see we'll see Zagast played by Stephen, and I think I'm gonna play Cole, and I think it's back in the Black Dragon. Again, it's a what did you say the night was that
Oh, Goblin Thigh night.
Yeah, it's Goblin Thigh night at the Black Dragon Tavern or inn.
Definitely tavern.
Yeah, okay. Action.
And that's what Calypso's saying. Definitely tavern. The sign doesn't say anything except for Black Dragon, right? Oh, hey, check this out, Cole. We just came back from, and we just had those random encounters, and she pulls out this scroll parchment. There's like all these stats and stuff in it. She's like, check out my character sheet. No, half up the front, up here. I got my second level in Social Justice Warrior.
Oh, interesting. It's I've been wondering how I mean, I guess these goblin guys, are they from like goblins that died
Now,
from old age up?
not goblin guys, goblin folk. You don't know if they're guys or girls. They're goblin folk. But go on.
Wait, I thought you are gonna eat some goblin thighs with me, right? That's what.
Of course. I'm not prejudiced. I'll have some goblin thighs.
Well, it just seems a little, you're always, going on about social justice for goblinoids. Wait, goblinoids, that's right, isn't it? Is that, I meant to call them goblinoids now?
We like to say goblin fools.
Goblin fools.
Yeah, goblinoids. That oids part. That's a term they used 2 decades ago.
Oh, it's
That
hard
whole
to.
theory's been discredited.
Oh, well,
I like to call them minions. I mean, I honestly feel it simplifies things so much when you have a master servant relationship.
See, that's very egalitarian.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a
all
question,
of my
Jack.
servants are equal to all of my other servants.
See, they're all equal because they're below, but they're below
Exactly.
together.
Exactly.
That sounds fair.
And it's very simple. It's very simple. There is me. There are my servants. There are potential servants, and there are people who don't matter and who can be killed. That is the necromancer code.
Sounds like a very easy
You will
way
be
to.
pleased to know that I consider both of you to be potential minions. And not even necessarily reanimated minions. I think you could be of use to me while still living. That is a rare compliment from a necromancer.
I like to think that this is where Calypso and One-Eyed Cole look at each other and give each other like their version of like their high five or whatever. Yeah. Or like some kind of like crazy routine.
Yeah, we're in with the necromancer. Cool.
Yes.
Now let's order one of these bowls of thighs here. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not open to, some of these goblinoid. I mean, goblin folk thighs.
Yes.
She throws some coins on the table.
Hey, this is
so many leftover thighs after. I mean, do you know how hard it is to find a good corpse these days? I mean, half of the corpses that we reanimated, they weren't even worth keeping. And so many of these goblins, their hands are just useless. They can't even hold things properly. I mean, it's like this. I call it the hand of doom. You can have a perfectly good goblin otherwise, but if their hands are no good, you just have to condemn the whole corpse.
Well, I'm looking at a bowl of goblins right here with no hands, and they look just fine to me.
Yeah. They're fine as food, but as minions, severely inadequate.
Wait.
I am so disappointed.
Are you saying not all goblins?
No, just the ones with bad hands. Ones with bad hands are no good as minions.
All right, that's fair. A little bit ableist, but okay.
Well, I'm not saying that disabled goblins are worth this, but I am willing to make reasonable accommodations for goblins with no hands, as long as I can find a position of a position where their disability doesn't interfere with their ability to do the job. But their job is as a ravening undead legion. And if you're going to be in a ravening undead legion, you need to be able to hold a sword. You need to be able to fight.
Picks up another leg.
All right, settle down in here. It's too political. Look at the sign. It says no politics, no talking about politics in the Black Dragon.
Fair enough. I'll leave my politics outside. Another bowl of goblinoids.
It's like turning into this is a fine establishment in here. It's not some sort of crappy dark dungeon where you can just talk about whatever you want. You guys just shut up and eat your goblin. I'm sick of this bullshit. And we'll come.
Oh my god.
Even though he was the one that started the whole political conversation.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've finished off our social justice warrior theme.
Is that with a gray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's give Zagast a red hand of doom.
Ooh.
I still don't really know what those reds mean, but I'm just enjoying filling him up with red.
Yep.
I didn't actually notice when you did your half up front thing, but I just assumed that you had actually done it at some point. We'll put it on that.
Sure. I think I did it on my character sheet or something.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Just half up at the front or whatever.
I liked how Stephen, you did like a really obvious like accentuation on your like thing. I call it a hand of doom.
All right. Let's see. What are we going to do next? I'm going to say goblins. Oh, and you know what? So we have two characters. Notice we have two characters. And Lou, you're new to the game. And you'll notice that two of the characters have filled up to the point where they're on the last square. And the last square says the word secret. So at this point, if those characters are in the scene, instead of having to say a specific phrase, they have to share some deep secret, right? Something that's obviously quite big, whatever that is. So let's see. Will they be in the scene? Oh, I kind of like the idea of, well, let's see here. We're going to have, oh yeah, let's see what happens here. We're going to do goblins. And I'm going to have Rizgit and Wexler. Let's see. I think Rizgit is going to be played by, let's say that'll be played by Lou. No, you know what? I'm going to have Rizgit played by Steven. Sorry. Okay. So, Steven, you'll play Rizgit. I will play Wexler. And Lou, you're going to be playing Zagast. And I think Rizgit and Wexler are, they just came to the, I think they're walking by the Black Dragon, and it's still Goblin Thigh Night, but it says like sold out, like they're out of Goblin Thighs. And someone's shouting in the distance, like they're loose again or something like that. And I don't know where Zagast is. We'll see when Zagast appears. So again, Steven is, and so maybe he's in the Black Dragon, or maybe he's somewhere else. I don't know. But so Steven's Rizgit and I'm Wexler, and we will say action.
The goblins have escaped the pen again. This is a good opportunity for bounty. You are an adventurer now, Wexler, aren't you? Are you not?
Yes, I'm an adventurer. Hold on, I have the credo, and he pulls out a little scroll from behind, and he's like, from sea to mountain, from jungle to the caves, he will come and shine a light wherever there be knaves. Wait, no, this is my personal journal. I have the adventure credo here somewhere. Do we always have to say it before we jump in?
No.
Oh.
No one ever says it. It's kind of a joke, really.
Okay, I knew that. And Wexler,
but you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
He pulls out his.
This is a good opportunity for you to get some experience.
Okay, but you're gonna help, right?
Absolutely. You should stand in front of me so you get the most experience.
He gets in front, and some goblin runs out and bites him on the arm. He's like, ah!
Okay,
tries to hit him with
stab him. Stab him.
Ah! There's like another one, bites him on the other arm.
No. With the pointy end.
He's got a staff. The other side is like this big blunt.
Where is the pointy end?
It's not working. He just keeps bashing the goblin. The goblin's not letting go of his arm. It hurts. I think these guys are a little bit more hit dice than I was bargaining for.
It'll be fine. I'm sure you have an excellent constitution.
He falls down on his face, and he's running, like turning around in the mud.
Adventurers these days. Okay. I draw a sword, and he lifts it up and ching, splits it in two and stabs one goblin with each half, and then ching, puts it back together.
It hurts less.
Yes. Okay.
While this is all going on, there's like a little cut scene off to like a little room, and you can hear all the fighting in the background and stuff, and Zagast is in this room, and it's kind of got these little magical lights set up, and he's singing this really happy song to himself, and he's there's all these plants and stuff in the room, and he's like he's got this really like beautiful flower garden in this like little room, and he's like really sweetly like tending to all of these plants and stuff. I think also he's a camera comes around and looks at his face, and it's like all these kind of undead face and stuff. It's just like makeup. He doesn't have his makeup on or anything, and he's like la 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 la.
Nice.
And then back to the
to the battle.
The battle.
Wexler gets up and, opens the jaw of this dead goblin. There's like blood streaming down his arms. And he looks down at them and he pulls out a paper and I, I did it. I think I just leveled up. I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the Dungeon of Darkness.
That's the spirit, young Wexler. I remember when I was ready for my first dungeon. Of course, I come from the Underdark, so our dungeons were above the ground. We would venture into the sunlight. But the open meadows, they were very frightening to a young elf, to a young dark elf. When I saw my first cow, I was terrified. Such large creatures, I knew they must be incredibly fierce.
Wexler's laughing, and under his breath, he's just like, "Nerd!" And the scene cuts. Our dungeons were above ground. Okay, let's. Oh man, Zagast. That's such a great scene.
I was toying between that and his mum calling him up for dinner and calling him some sort of super like ordinary name, like Jonathan, come up for dinner.
That'd be awesome. I'm gonna put 2 for 1 sword, and I'm gonna put the reciting lines. So we may get another secret from Zagast. We'll see. All right, Stephen, it's you. So, and notice, by the way, if you look at the at our play board, we've got basically 3 scenes left, right? There's 1 more, which is buying supplies, and definitely 2 more in the Dungeon of Darkness. And once we've done those 3 scenes, then the game will end, and then we do the epilogue.
Okay, well, let's have a buying supplies scene, and we haven't had Knife Blade do much, so I'll take Knife Blade. We'll put Knife Blade in the scene, and Tomer, you can be Calypso, and Lou, you can be Wexler, and so we're in the adventurer shop. We all just wandered in separately, and we're shopping for supplies. So action. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Calypso,
Like,
daggers are
everyone goes at once.
always. I think the equivalent to that is like all 3 of us like walking down different aisles and like bump into each other at the intersections. Oh.
Watch it, nerd.
Calypso is holding a box of condoms, and she, at first she's saying hi, and then she realizes she's holding it and like quickly puts it, like kind of tries to be subtle about it and stick it in her bag.
Wexler looks extremely embarrassed.
What are you all shopping for today?
I was going to buy some daggers. I didn't know how expensive they were. I never bought a dagger before. I always stole my daggers. It's like, why do people shop anyway? It's so expensive.
Not everybody's got percentages in pickpocket.
Well, why not? It's my best skill. I mean, it's a great skill. It's like you can get so much great stuff. Like for instance, and she pulls out this box of condoms. I mean, I wasn't even shopping for those, but like
Calypso checks to see that it's not her condoms that
Oh, it
We're taking
absolutely is. I
right.
mean, I had the back to her.
She's like, look, not everybody can take all of these multi-class, or go all in on the thief. You know, that's min-maxing craziness. Sometimes you have to work together.
Look, there are only two skills worth having. There's stealing and there's stabbing. And they both start with st, which I don't actually know what the significance of that is, but I figure it's gotta be a sign.
Wexler's like, well, Knifeblade, I've got a little problem that you might be able to help me with. I went on a little.
No, talk to Calypso about that. She's got the condoms. You're cute and all, but dude, I want a little more experience. You know what I mean?
He's you can see the blush just like rising up and up. He's like, oh no, it's a different problem. It's totally. I don't have that kind of problem. I'm like all down with the. I I've had sex heaps of times. I do it all the time. I don't.
I think Calypso and Knifeblade give each other like the side look, like, uh-huh.
He's like, anyway. Well, I was on a adventure and these hags they they stole my keys. I can't get into my house now. I I was wondering, would you help me like
Hag
get
bullies. Look, man, you got to take care of that yourself. We're not here to rough these people up. You're an adventurer now. God damn it, act like it. And she like punches him on the shoulder, nice and hard.
Look, just because I'm a thief, it doesn't mean I took skills in lockpicking. Stealing, stabbing. Those are my skills. Stealing, stabbing. Which of those sounds like I can open a lock? Well, I guess stealing kind of does, but
and
I
stabbing?
can't. I'm not going to stab a lock. You break a knife that way.
Look, I'm
You
gonna
dull the
leave
edge.
you guys to your silly conversations, but I'm a high level adventurer. I've got an appointment at the Dungeon of Darkness, if you know what I mean. And she gives you guys a wink, and walks out the door. But there's a frame cut, and you see her. You see Zagast. He's in his little house, and he's like watering the plants and whatever. And you hear a knock on the door. And he's humming, all happy. And there's a knock on the door, and he's like, who is it? In his persona. And she's like, oh, it's just me, honey. And she walks in and, puts the groceries on the counter and gives him a little kiss on the cheek. And, oh, yeah, that one's coming up nicely. She's like looking at the plants.
And by the way, you weren't supposed to call them hags anymore. You're supposed to call them senior citizens. And scene. Okay, so let's put a gray on buying supplies.
All right.
And a red on Calypso's secret.
Okay.
And a gray on Hags stole my keys. Okay. Can I have a quick 2-minute bathroom break?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. And after we do that, we'll have 2 scenes left, and then we'll do that blog. So yeah, that sounds good. I like your 2-for-1 swords. Oh boy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was going to as a beginning adventure, I was going to give him a coupon for 2-for-1 swords, but
Yeah.
then there was the fight scene. And it was like, okay, let's do the flashy dark elf thing.
Yep. All right. I think it's you, right, Lou?
Sure. So Dungeon of Darkness, obviously. And who will we see here?
Right, and you can't use Calypso anymore because we filled up all of the boxes.
Cool.
Yeah. But if Zagast is in another scene, although he will have to reveal a secret, it needs to be a different secret, right?
Cool. I think we'll see Phelan the Grey. That's you, Stephen.
Okay.
Wexler. Tomer, that's you. And I think we'll have I'm gonna be Dragonfly. And I think the scene opens I think it's I think we see a little montage of some I think like maybe even a few of the other characters are around in this montage. You see like a synthwave soundtrack, like dungeoneering, like montage. You know, like there's some fighting and some
Climbing ropes,
ropes
scaling
and
like a
some
crazy cavernous pit or something.
narrowly avoiding traps, solving some a chess, some sort of chess puzzle to open a door, and then I think when the scene starts, they're standing at some sort of like altar, like an altar room, in the dungeon, and
Whew. I can't believe I made it this far.
Yes. Now that you're first level, young Wexler, it is time for you to embark on the life of an adventurer. Most people would coddle a first level mage, but I don't believe in that. I believe that it is time for you to face your first real challenge, which is a black dragon. As a first level mage, you will get an incredible amount of experience from that. You will go straight to 9th level.
That's a lot of XP, but I mean, a black dragon. Wait, what is that? Is that like cold breath or acid? What was it again?
Acid, you fool! You really need to read. You really need to read the textbooks, Wexler. I know the spell books are important, but you need to read the grimoires of magical beasts and do the quiz sheets.
everyone knows what sort of breath attack a black dragon has. Like,
well, all those chromatic dragons always get me confused. Fire and ice. I can never get them straight in my head.
Fire is hot, ice is cold. There's a very simple mnemonic rhyme. Hot fire, cold ice. That doesn't actually rhyme, but if you remember it, it will get you through.
Huff key. Got it. Huff key. Hot fire, cold ice. I'll remember that now.
Well, it actually does rhyme in Elvish. You know, it's just the translation doesn't rhyme.
I haven't gotten any extra languages yet.
Don't
obviously,
worry.
with an intelligence
Once
of
you're ninth
3.
level, you get a free language at 4th level and 8th level. So as soon as you kill the black dragon, you'll be able to understand Elvish just fine.
This is when there's like a film crew in the back, and you see Wexler, look over at the film crew and is like, yeah, right now. And it's like two dwarves with some weird dwarven like steampunk, cameras or something, right? And he takes off his Wexler traveling gear, and he's like, I am not really Wexler, I am the Gray Wex. I'm the boss of adventurers in this here kingdom, and this was boss wars. Yeah, I came here just to see if you guys were doing a good job. You guys passed the mustard. But I'm not going in to fight that black dragon. That's for little adventurers like you. I just pay the bills. You guys can keep your jobs. Except for you. Wait, who are you? Dragonfly, right?
Dragonfly.
He's like, hey, nerd. I'm afraid you're gonna have to look for a new venue to get work at.
Dragonfly starts firing off arrows at at the film crew and Wexler.
Hey,
and
what?
Probably accidentally Phelan the Grey. She's just like Legolasing arrows like everywhere.
And one goes straight through Wexler's eye, and he just falls to his knees and then down on the ground.
Wexler, I am very disappointed with you. You are no longer my apprentice, and I am taking back the staff of Azadriel.
He's just dead on the ground, right? He just pulled staff from him.
Worst apprentice ever.
The dwarves are running with arrows in their backs. Yeah. Whose scene was this?
It was those.
Okay, it wasn't mine.
Oh, yeah. Cut.
I was like, wait, is this my scene?
I totally forgot. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Nice.
All right. Well, you get to assign these tokens. Now, if you don't assign it to Wexler, maybe he'll come back. I mean, he can. We do have a necromage, I guess.
Yeah. I'll give the red one to the staff.
Okay.
The grey to the dungeon. And yeah, let's we'll give the grey to Dragonfly.
All right, cool. All right, sounds good. All right, we have one last scene. Dungeon of Darkness. Let's see here. All right, we're going to have I think we're going to have Zagast in the scene. Well, shit. All right, let's do Zagast and Wexler and Rizgit. That sounds
secrets. Like so many secrets.
That's right. I'm gonna give. Let's see. I'm gonna give Zagast to. Oh man, but see, and then we've got Phelan the Grey too. Oh, there's so many good things here. All right. We'll do Zagast will be with Steven. And then Lou, you're gonna get Wexler. Sorry, I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but have fun. And you know what? I'm gonna be Phelan the Gray. And this is, that door, the final door, is opening into kind of like there's just darkness, right? And then you see in the far distance like two little glowing eyes, right, in the dark. And action.
Creak! I mean, this is Zagas just saying creak because he felt that the door opening was insufficiently dramatic.
It was just quiet.
Yeah, it was way too quiet. A sense of drama is very important. You understand this, darlings, don't you?
Of course I do. I am level 13. You can't get to level 13 without drama and an audio soundtrack.
Yes.
And he hits a button on the staff, on Azadriel's staff, and there's some more synthwave kind of like starts playing.
We get a little scene like back in the room where Wexler's lying on the ground with a arrow in his eye, and there's this kind of, I think we see where the dwarves are kind of like hiding, and there's this little there's this like strange shimmer, and the dwarves just disappear, and like the arrow kind of just like falls away, and Wexler gets up. He's like, I did it. A major illusion. They all believed it, and now I'm going to hide and jump out and kill that dragon, and I'll go all the way up to level 9, and they're going to be so surprised. And he's like starts sneaking towards the thing. Sorry, I gotta check the door for 1 second.
That's okay. Synthwave music playing.
Yes.
Phelan's like moving with the beat.
Right, and my 100 Legion army of goblins is dancing to the music, and it's like I'm rocking out. I am rocking out. I've got this choreographed army of goblin dancers backing me up, and we are strutting. I am strutting in to face the black dragon.
And Phelan's like, on the side there as they're walking by him, and he hits another button on the staff, and like disco lights start shining all over the place. Little fireworks go off. So yeah, we're just making our way into the cave.
Yes.
Phelan's behind them with the staff.
You know, Phelan, very few people know this, but I am not a single class necromancer. I actually took 3 levels in Bard when I was young, and I love this music.
Phelan turns to you And is like,
It's like, why did I ever go into necromancy in the first place?
that's what I was thinking. I started as a bard too. And he immediately like hits a couple more buttons on the staff and some strings come out and there's like a couple of weird buttons and he's like and just starts playing some more intense beats.
Yeah, and right, and I pull a bassoon out of my bag of holding, and I start improving, just putting some jazz riffs on top of the syntho music. This is a fusion of styles. This is
Wexler can't help himself. He was meant to be sneaking along in the shadows. He's like, guys, I'm alive. This is awesome. And he jumps in and he starts doing like really bad white guy, like beatboxing. He's like,
but that's
just
when
stop and stare. And I turn to my army of goblins and I point at Wexler.
Oh no. And it's not just you and me staring. We're staring at him like he interrupted this thing. And right between us is the dragon's head. And he's also just staring at Wexler like, what the fuck? And then he lets out this mighty roar and swallows up Phelan. And Phelan is eaten.
Dude, we were jamming.
The dragon just kind of gives you a look like, and he said, look, I got a job to do. I mean, the beats were cool, but you know, this is my gig. Acid all over goblins, and they're like melting left and right and squealing. And sorry, guy.
I cannot work in these conditions, and I just turn and leave.
He's like, hey, this is the Dungeon of Doom. What did you sign up for?
I thought this was the Dungeon of Darkness.
wait,
That's
I'm
what
in
I
the
meant.
wrong dungeon the whole time.
You're in the
I'm
wrong
in the
dungeon,
wrong dungeon the
the
whole time.
Get the hell out of here. This isn't the Dungeon of Beats. It's not a dance club.
I quit. I am not going to be a necromancer anymore. I am going to start a dance club.
The dragon is sitting there watching him walk off, but then Wexler is still there, right?
Yeah, Wexler's trying to sneak up on the dragon.
Oh.
And I don't think we see what happens.
All right. Oh, did Wexler reveal a secret?
His secret was that he wasn't dead after all,
right.
I think.
So
and that he could cast that awesome spell.
So we're gonna cut there, and now we'll do the secret ending, right? So let me assign these things. Oh man, that's a close tie. I'm gonna give that red one to Zagast, so there's no question. Dungeon of Darkness, Dungeon of Doom. It was the wrong one the whole time. It's not even the right red dragon. And then, yeah, Phelan's dead. So let's just give it to Phelan. All right. But that was a great secret by Wexler. Obvious secret.
Sorry, all I could come up with was reversing what you'd... like, well, actually, that didn't happen.
Yeah, totally. All right, so the secret ending. At the end of play, the character with the most moving forward tokens is responsible for killing the dragon, or at least claims that they did. This may or may not come out as part of the story, but the person who placed the final token narrates the scene describing how the dragon dies. So I'm going to say this. Wexler, you know, sneaks up, like as the dragon is distracted and melting goblins left and right and telling Zagast to piss off. You know, I think Wexler comes up behind the dragon and lifts up one of the little scales and takes his dagger and plunges it in there. And, you know, the dragon screams bloody murder. It's spraying everywhere. And the dragon falls down and dies. And and Wexler is beside himself, and stumbles back into town like a week later. He's like half dead, and stumbles in, and everyone's celebrating that the dragon was killed by Zagast, right? They've got him. They're celebrating Zagast's dance studio being open, and the fact that he's destroyed the Black Dragon. At least that's my take. What do you guys think? Do you have an alternate ending? Let's see here. Also, it says the character with the most standing still tokens is an eyewitness to the killing. Who is that? Oh, that would be Phelan. Well, I guess Phelan did see it. I think the dagger goes into the dragon's belly, right? And Phelan's there and sees the point of the dagger just as he maybe even gets killed by it. All right, what do you guys think? Do you guys have an alternate theory or ending?
I think that one works for me.
What about you, Stephen?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right. So that's the game. That's the silliness that is Murder Hobo. Do you guys have so before we stop the broadcast, any there's like what do you call it?
Roses and thorns,
or that kind of thing. Like, what did you like about the game? And what would you improve about the game, or the session, or your GM, or whatever? Like, what do you think?
It was interesting because I knew nothing about the game at all, really, and I really enjoyed myself. It was first. I think from the description of the game, I thought it was more a kind of like I played Before the Storm recently. Have you played that before? It's like it's this game where it's a similar scene framing thing with a card mechanic, and it's all of these kind of heroes in a place together talking about what's going to happen, like the next day, which is the end of this kind of battle between good and evil. And it's a similar kind of thing, like red cards kind of deciding who actually like survives the battle and that sort of thing. And I think I kind of thought it was going to be these characters in a tavern, like reminiscing about like past adventures, like, because it kind of has that thing. This is the time where you don't go on an adventure. It's the time you stay in the tavern. I think just because of my experience in that game, which I think could actually be a cool, like, kind of game as well, where you're flashing back and seeing the relationships between like characters and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of the theme cards are more explicitly that sort of a thing. I mean, we sort of took the wizard with the map and the goblins, and we took those scenes out of the tavern. Whereas I think if we could have done it differently, where it was very much more about being in between adventures.
And I've actually played it that way as well. So I've seen on some tables where almost every scene is just in the tavern and either talking about those things or trying to avoid them or whatever. But I've also played in games where we've taken these threads and kind of run with them in weird different directions. Like the wizard with the map, it wasn't like the wizard coming back with another map, or still trying to get, like, we were actually like following that storyline, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I'd really recommend that Before the Storm game. By the way, I reckon you guys would like it.
When you described it, I remember I've heard it. I've heard it pitched before. No, it sounded really interesting.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's a similar kind of pattern to this. Like, it's kind of got a little bit of that Swords Without Master thing where you're asking somebody to kind of show you a particular thing, but you have set characters that you're playing as, but you sometimes play other characters in the scene, and it's kind of like it's I guess it's more like it's got a more serious tone, I guess, than this. Like this is like heaps like a cool cartoon to play around with, like those tropes and that kind of stuff, like, which is awesome. But yeah, if like you want this sort of thing that's got like a more, you know, like serious kind of tone, you can, and to get deeper into like one particular character and stuff, I guess, too.
Cool. Was there anything that you felt didn't work, or could be improved, or you know? I mean, I'll throw mine in there. Yeah, I think we did a really good job with 3 people. I like that we and this was really a test, because the one time I've played this game with 3 people, and it wasn't Murder Hobo, but it was just the regular Forget Me Not. We did it where there was only 2 people in each scene, and there was less character cards, because that's the way it's advertised to set it up. And you know, it definitely, I didn't think it played as well, but you know, we kind of worked it because the director would use a lot of NPCs and kind of throw those in there. But I really liked how we, you know, we gave the director the choice of jumping in or not. And that way it did really feel like, almost like it does with a 4-player game. But I still think this game, the sweet spot is 4 players. You want to play this game with 4 players if you can.
Yeah. And I think it works better to have three players in each scene, but it would also work better to have somebody who could jump in as an NPC. Like particularly in the first wizard with the map scene, there was nobody there to play the wizard.
Right.
So that sort of hampered that scene, and that's part of why I made the next scene about actually following the map, is that I didn't want to bring the wizard back into the scene.
Yeah, right.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah. So definitely works better with 4 players, and I would have liked it if a couple of the characters didn't get quite as much screen time as the others, which disappointed me a tiny bit. But
I kind of was running I was running some little side narratives in my head where they were doing stuff at the same time, like just because I was interested in it. Like
nice.
Like they were off doing stuff off screen, sort of.
Yeah, but there were some characters that really took off, and there were other characters that sort of never really caught fire. So, and that's just how it goes. I thought Wexler turned out to be the star of the show.
Yeah, he was pretty solid. I was surprised because I think, did I choose Wexler in the beginning? I think that was one of the ones I chose, right? Like I don't think I've ever played with him before, and he looks kind of like a weak character. Like I think maybe people haven't chosen him because, you know, it's just that little, you know. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that he became such a star.
I think having him like the mentor of the wizard, like up like that, kind of makes sense, and that was my favorite scene that we did, like for me anyway, in speaking in character, was that scene with me trying to give Wexler the staff. That was really fun. Like, shut up, I'm trying to give you a gift.
Great.
Yeah, thanks for playing it with me, guys. Like it is something like I'm like it is really good practice for me. Like I'm like I feel like I'm good at like following stories and knowing what's going on and kind of being part of them. But the dialogue thing is always like I'm getting better at it. And it's I don't know. I just have a bit of a unique like voice personally too. I talk a bit like a friendly robot, so it's like hard for me to like, I don't know. I often I don't know. It's funny for me to try embody other like characters through my voice. Yeah.
Well, I will say this: the game and the other versions of this game. There's 3 versions. There's a Twin Peaks. There's like a Florida version, and then there's like this version, the D&D version. All of them are available on drive-through, and if you get them, you can actually purchase them in 2 ways. You can get just the PDF, and then it's just a print and play, and you can print your own cards, or you can buy the actual cards. But like I said, there's like 32 characters in each of the game. You only play with like 8 with a 4-player, table, and then there's like a ton of threads too. I think there's like 16 or something. So there's really kind of quite a bit of replay value. Even if we used the same characters, if we shuffled them around, like the relationships would have been different. And obviously, you always play with a different table. And I've played this game a lot with newbies, so people who do not play RPGs, but it's just so easy to grab it and run with it. And worst case, you just have some scenes that are just kind of silly and stupid because you're just trying to get those words out. But like it's not that hard to say some words, right? So I found it great that way. So hopefully you can get practice with this if you wanted to. Cool. Well, anyways, thanks a lot for joining me. I'm gonna stop the stream now.